Thank you, everyone in attendance with us today. I want to call this meeting to order, and it is 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. We'll start with item number 2, roll call.
Oscar Salinas here.
Mary Hernandez, here.
Nereida Cantu, present.
Alex Cantu, present.
Espio Ochoa, present.
And Claudia Ochoa, present. Dr. Sines, I do declare a quorum.
Thank you, Mrs. Ochoa. And now for our Pledge of Allegiance, we have with us this evening Leonardo de Hoyos. Leonardo is a third grade student at Emiliano Zapata Elementary. His principal is here with him. She's Mrs. Rosa Gonzalez Vela. Leonardo is president of the Characters Kids Club, and he participates in activities like UIL reading and storytelling. He has placed first, second, and third grade in district competition. Leonardo loves acting, art, and he is very close to becoming the top reader in his grade level. We want you to get there, Leonardo. Good luck. Leonardo is an inspiration to others due to his kindness and generosity. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Mario de Hoyos and Belinda de Hoyos, are very proud of everything that he has accomplished. You may lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Leonardo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Leonardo. And would Mr. and Mrs. de Hoyos please stand so that we can recognize you?
Okay, moving on. Before we continue with our meeting, I'd like to address an issue. An item was added to the agenda without board president approval in violation of BE Local. Therefore, it will not be acknowledged. And now moving on to item 4, tax collector's report.
Okay,
Do I have a motion?
Ms. Ochoa, can I check with legal? Isn't it that it has to be approved, or with 2 board members, if they put it on the agenda? Isn't it possible that board policy can be broken if it's more than 1 board member?
Of course.
Okay.
We are now going into closed session 6:04.
Okay.
Are we listing any board policy, any? Under 55? 1.704. Thank you. Okay, I apologize. It is 6:08, and we reconvene after closed session. So again, back to item number 4, approval of tax collector's report. I have a motion by Mr. Garza.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, approval of minutes.
I'll go ahead and so move on items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas for items 1 through 4. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Ochoa. On the superintendent's report, the first item is the enrollment report. As of March 19, 2019, in our elementary campuses, we have 13,451 students. In our secondary campuses, we have 14,328 students, for a total of 27,779 students, which is 891 students less than last year at this time. That concludes the enrollment report. Are there any questions? Our second item on the attendance report is a treat for everyone. We have some special performances that will be done by the wonderful students at JFK Elementary. JFK Elementary is one of our A-rated schools. The first group that we'll have the privilege of seeing are the JFK Elementary Cheerleaders.
Good evening, school board members, interim superintendent, directors, and administrators. It is an honor and privilege to represent John F. Kennedy's performing groups. Thank you to the remarkable coaches who give up their time and to our parents for all their support.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, superintendente, provisional, directores y administradores. Es un honor y privilegio de presentar los grupos de actuación. Porristas, raíces mexicanas, folclórico, mini chulets y coro. Disfruten nuestra presentación.
Con todo el traje y todo, listo. Ay, chiquitita, ¿eh? Esa fue Sofía, güey.
Cheerleaders, we'd like to take a picture of you with our board president and board vice president. Oh, they're still not done. Oh, okay. cheerleaders. Doesn't that want to make you be at a football game cheering? Good job. So now we'll take a picture with our board president and our board vice president. And all the moms and dads of these cheerleaders, if you're in the audience, please stand so we can acknowledge you.
Like 4 Sophias?
Yeah, the fourth one was like,
I think 4.
Ay, before you know it, they're in middle school.
Years fly by, man.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna come out in those pictures, right?
Yeah, just.
Do we go down or we
Yeah.
smile?
Hey, but you're gonna be in the lights?
Thank you, cheerleaders, for performing for us. That was awesome. And did you all know that JFK also has the Ley Folclórico Raíces Mexicanas? And they're going to perform for us next.
Are you gonna fit?
Can we take a picture of the folklorico group before we go on with the next group? Mr. Garza, do you want to take a picture? Mr. Garza and Ms. Ochoa. And parents of these beautiful folklorico dancers, please stand so we can recognize you. you. And that's not even all, because JFK also brought their mini duets to perform for us tonight.
Mira, 100 pegaditas.
Let's pose for a picture. Mr. Salinas and Ms. Hernandez, with Ms. and also with their principal, Mary Guerra. Incredible job, mini duets. And that's not all. We also have the JFK choir students that are going to be presenting. Welcome. Good job. And we'll have Mrs. Ochoa and Ms. Nereida Cantu take a picture with our choir students. Any moms and dads of these choir students that are in the audience, please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you, students. All of the JFK performers, one big round of applause for them again. Any teachers or staff from JFK Elementary that are in the audience, please stand so we can recognize you. Teachers from JFK Elementary, if you're in the audience, please stand so we can recognize you. Before we continue our next recognition, we're going to take a couple of moments just so that we can clear up a little bit and we'll be ready for our next recognition. Okay, thank you, everyone. Our next recognition is for recognition of trustee Mr. Armin Garza. Mr. Garza is being recognized for his years of service as school board president during the 2018-2019 school year, and for his dedication and commitment to the education of the students at La Joya ISD and all of its employees. Thank you, Mr. Garza. If you will step forward, we'll present you with your gavel. Our next recognition is the schools that achieved an exemplary overall rating in the implementation of the La Joya ISD one-way dual language enrichment program. These schools that we're going to recognize this evening were rated at this level. They have implemented the dual language for 9 years or more. The exemplary rating recognizes a high-quality instructional program and exceptional learning opportunities that are being provided for all of our students. We're very proud of all our principals and the teachers and all of the staff at our exemplary rated schools. So principals, as I call your name, please come forward, and then we'll take a group picture. Our first principal is Laura Lopez from Chapa Elementary. If there's any teachers from Chapa, please stand so we can recognize you also.
Congratulations, felicidades.
Erica Gonzalez from Paredes Elementary. Rosie Romo, acting principal at Benavides Elementary, and with her is supervisor Mr. Hernandez. From From Jose de Escandon Elementary, Mary Sepulveda, Principal. And Ms. Diaz, her supervisor. Congratulations. William Clinton Elementary, Mr. Munoz, Principal. John F. Kennedy Elementary, Mary Guerra, Principal. And Joanne Zamora, Supervisor. Ms. Susana Lerma. From Benson Elementary, Hilda Mendoza, Principal. From Leo J. Leo Elementary, Maria Jasinski, Principal. Carrie Villarreal, Supervisor. Kika de la Garza Elementary, Irene Fernandez, Principal. From Ibi Reina Elementary, Lucina Lara Garza, Principal. Narciso Cavazos Elementary, Marisa Garza, Principal. Tabasco Elementary, Marena Contreras, Principal. Patricio Perez Elementary, Myra T. Ramos, Principal. Henry Gonzalez Elementary, Diana Bel Villarreal, Principal. Sanford Ice Elementary, Roxanne Pena, Principal. Emiliano Zapata Elementary, Rosa Gonzalez Vela, Principal. Corina Pena Elementary, Raul Luna, Principal. Evangelina Garza Elementary, Maria Flores Guerra, Principal. Enrique Camarena Elementary, Mary Lily Garza Ibarra, Principal. Congratulations to all our principals, and I understand the dual language representatives are in the audience. Please stand and be recognized, dual language representatives. Congratulations to all our principals, and thank you all for the incredible work that you do at your campuses every day.
Alex, want to go or Vice President, Secretary?
I want to I'd like to say a great congratulations to all the campuses that have received exemplary. And of course, this cannot be done without our teachers that work tirelessly planning and getting everything ready for our students, for an accomplishment that their campus is being received. So thank you so much to our teachers, most of all our dual language teachers that work so hard for our students. Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. Next, we have recognition of La Jolla ISD for being awarded the Golden Apple Club 2019 Top 4 Districts for United Way, District Coordinator of the Year, District Staff Members in the Pillar Club, and top campuses in elementary, middle, and high school who contributed the most. Welcome, Ms. Lily Lopez, VP and Resource Development Director for United Way.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is Lily Lopez Kilole, and I'm with United Way. I want to thank Mrs. Claudia Ochoa, the entire board, and Dr. Science for your time this evening. We're honored to have the opportunity to congratulate and recognize La Jolla ISD employees for their support throughout the 2018 campaign. And it's also a time to just share a couple of quick things about how we invest the very hard-earned dollars that La Jolla ISD employees contribute to the United Way. And I always begin by reminding people that 99% of what is raised, of what we contribute, stays here in Hidalgo and Stark County. So that should always be our answer when people ask, where are your dollars invested? 99% stay right here in our community. We also serve over 265,000 residents annually. That's about 30% of the population in Hidalgo and Stark counties. And that's through programs like the Red Cross, Children's Advocacy Center, our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, and many other services. So without further ado, I'd like to begin by recognizing our leadership givers. Our Pillar Club program is for individuals who contribute over $500 a year to the United Way. Our number doubled at La Jolla ISD this year. We had 14, but I'd like to recognize those that are here. Mrs. Juliana Garza, or Miss Juliana Garza. Okay. Dr. Science, and Mr. and Mrs. Roel Zamora. Have you please step forward for your Pillar Club bid? I think we're going to continue just calling out the awards, so I'm going to continue by calling out the campuses that contributed the most this year to the campaign. From La Jolla and Nori Zapata is here as well. So thank you, Mrs. Zapata. Will you please step forward as well? Thank you. And moving on, the campuses with the highest contributions this year from La Jolla High School. They raised over $5,000. And thank you, La Jolla High School. And that was Sylvia, is it Ms. Ochoa? And I'm sorry, I'm going from a 16 font to about a 9. Elizondo, thank you so much. Thank you. The Zavala Middle School also did really well, 3,600. Sam Fordyce Elementary, Ms. Roxanne Peña, they raised 2,600. And the Academy of Health and Science Professionals in STEM program had the highest per capita, and Ms. Leanne Alanis Herrera. Is that correct? Thank you. The district was also presented with the highest per capita district. We work with about 20 districts in Hidalgo and Stark County. La Jolla ISD had the highest per capita. On an average, employees that contributed, not all of them, gave at least $98. So thank you so much. They received the highest per capita award as well. Okay. We're going to wait for a picture. Okay. Thank you. Those were our Pillar Club members. Thank you. And the campuses as well. And do we have recognition for the district highest per capita award already? That's the Red Apple Award. Okay, so we could present that to Dr. Science and maybe Ms. Ochoa and Ms. and Marisa. Also, the district received the Golden Apple Award, the #2 district of all 20 districts in the 2-county area. It was presented to La Jolla ISD. La Jolla ISD moved from #4 to #2 in 2018, and employees contributed almost $80,000 this year. So big round of applause, please. Okay? And finally, we'd like to, one of our largest awards was presented to the District Coordinator of the Year, Mrs. Marisa Science. Congratulations, Marisa. She's been an outstanding leader and has raised the bar for all of our other district coordinators from Mercedes to Roma. Mrs. Science represents La Jolla ISD with pride and integrity at all of our United Way events. So we'd like to thank Dr. Science, Ms. Ochoa, the board, our principals, our directors, everyone for their support. And again, to Ms. Science for being such an outstanding coordinator and representing the district just with such pride at all of our events. Thank you so much, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Our next recognition is recognition of Mr. Ruben Adame for receiving the National Federation of State High School Association Board Award. Please come forward, Mr. Adame and Ms. Ochoa, and Ms. Cantu, if you'll present Mr. Adame his award. Mr. Ruben Adame, Head Fine Arts Administrator, was honored by the National Federation of State High School Association. And this award is the Section C Outstanding Music Educator Award for 2018-19. Section C consists of Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Arizona. So this is indeed a big award. Congratulations to Mr. Adame for his leadership in arts education. We're proud of the accomplishments and recognitions that La Jolla ISD has received in fine arts through Mr. Adames' leadership. Thank you. Our next recognition is Domingo Trevino Middle School cheerleaders and yell leaders for receiving first place at the National Cheer Competition. And their principal, Mr. Jose Garcia, is here to recognize them.
Good evening, Madam President, Mrs. Ochoa, board members, and Dr. Science. Today, I have the honor of presenting to you the Domingo Trevino Middle School Cheer and Yell Leaders Squad for the 2018-2019 school year. They competed at the Fun Cheer Winter Wonderland at Edinburgh High School on December 9, 2018 in Edinburgh, Texas. Our cheerleaders they have established a tradition at DTMS, but are paving a path for future generations of students to follow. Our DTMS cheer squad placed first in the middle school division and received the Best Christmas Theme Award, earned the 2018 Spirit Award, and that's thanks to our parents. They were so spirited that they also got awarded and honored. With that said, they received a national bid to go compete at the Fun Cheer National Competition in San Antonio, Texas on March 2nd and 3rd. So they then proceeded to go to San Antonio, and they earned a first place national championships title for the middle school division, first ever at DTMS. And again, they also received the Spirited Award. And again, thanks to our parents for their support. So they were the loudest and the rowdiest, so they got an award for that too. So to close the season, they will be traveling. They're right here with me. They're right here in the audience. Thank you, parents. To close the season, they will travel to South Padre Island to compete at the 2019 Cheers Bash Splash competition. So I will present to you the Domingo Treviño Middle School Cheer Squad. Their sponsor, Ms. Mayra Salinas. Choreographers, we have Jose Castañeda and Isela Herrera. So we'll start off with our captains. Thank you for your support. We'll start off with our captains, Ruby Lopez and April Rodriguez. Sixth grade student, Brianna Bernal. Sixth grade student, Jaylene Guajardo. Sixth grade student, Valerie Gonzalez. Sixth grade student, Leah Alvarado. Sixth grade student, Alexi Cruz. And sixth grade student, Brianna Pretilla. Seventh grade student, Stephanie Ramiro. Seventh grade student, Kayla Pruneda. Seventh grade student, Angelina Martinez. Seventh grade student, Camila Ramos. Seventh grade student, Angelica Martinez. Seventh grade student, Amy Parra. Seventh grade student, Humberto Almanza. Eighth grade student, Angel Salinas. Eighth grade student, Natalie Perez. And seventh grade student, Karina Santiago. Congratulations, students, for your hard work and your commitment to DTMS Cheer Squad.
Principal and sponsors, please join the picture.
If I may, I wanted to show their performance so you all could see that. Let me see if it works. Is it in the middle? Okay. No, you see, doesn't. No, it's not allowing it to play. We'll forward it to you all, fellow board members, so you all can also enjoy and see the competition that we attended and how we brought that first place.
Will all the parents and family of the Domingo Treviño cheerleaders and yell leaders please stand so we can recognize you? We'll just take a moment or two before we do our next recognition. Okay, now we're going to recognize the district spelling bee champions who advanced to regional competition. Ms. Irma Tijerina, Elementary UIL Coordinator, will do the recognitions.
Good evening. At this time, we will be recognizing our
Cantu and Ms.
district spelling
Ochoa.
bee winners. These students competed at the Regional Spelling Bee on March 2nd and did an outstanding job representing La Jolla ISD. In first place, we had Lorena Andrade from Ann Richards Middle School. In second place, we had Daniel Moreno from Irene Garcia Middle School. And in third place, we had Adeline Garza from Cesar Chavez Middle School. Congratulations, boys and girls. Thank you, sponsors, for doing an excellent job preparing these students, and thank you, parents, for all your support. This concludes our spelling bee recognitions.
Congratulations. Parents in the audience, please stand so we can recognize you. Now we'll recognize the UIL Academics Elementary District Champions. Ms. Tijerina, our Elementary UIL Coordinator, will do those recognitions.
Next, we will be recognizing our elementary UIL district champions. These students placed first in one or more events at the elementary UIL district meet. Before I begin, I would like to thank all the UIL coaches and campus coordinators for the commitment and dedication. If we have any coaches and coordinators in the audience, if you can please stand and be recognized. I also want to thank all the parents of our district champions. Parents, please stand and be recognized. Thank you, parents, for all your support. We will now begin with our second grade district champions. In chess, puzzle, and spelling, we had Daniel Santiago from Camarena Elementary. In creative writing, we had Jenica Solis from Flores Elementary. In Spanish creative writing, we had Aime Pichardo from JFK Elementary. In music memory, we had Eileen Maya from Cavazos Elementary. In music memory, we had Mason Oliva from Tabasco Elementary. In music memory, we had Zoe Calzada from Tabasco Elementary. In oral reading, we had Giselle Ramirez from Garza Elementary. In Spanish poetry, we had Fernanda Castrejon from Camarena Elementary. And in storytelling, we had Mia Martinez from Zapata Elementary. This concludes our second grade district champions. Moving on to third grade. In calculator applications, we had Enrique Hernandez from Mendiola Elementary. In chess puzzle, we had Aiden Cantu from Escandon Elementary. In dictionary skills, we had Joshua Casas from Camarena Elementary. In mathematics, we had Santiago Osuna from JFK Elementary. Music memory, Eva Arispe from Diaz Villarreal Elementary. In number sense, we had Alessandro Ruiz from Camarena Elementary. In oral reading, we had Nayeli Guajardo from Camarena Elementary. In Spanish poetry, we had Camila Lara from JFK Elementary. In spelling, we had Esteban Reina from Garza Elementary. This concludes our third grade district champions. I'm sorry, we had a third grader that came in a little bit late, storytelling. Leilani Vasquez from Camarena Elementary.
They're very nice.
She gets a special picture. Moving on to fourth grade. In art, we had Jose de Alba from Escandon Elementary. In calculator applications, Leila Vela from Mendiola Elementary. In chess puzzle, Diego Santiago from Camarena Elementary. In dictionary skills, we have Bricia Ramos from Clinton Elementary. In listening skills, we have Leonardo Medrano from Escandon Elementary. In maps, graphs, and charts, we had Itzel Flores from Benson Elementary. In mathematics, we had Sebastian Martinez from Benson Elementary. In music memory, we had Maren Oliva from Tabasco Elementary. In number sense, we had Roberto Santos from JFK Elementary. In oral reading, we had Jaylani Guajardo from Diaz Villarreal Elementary. In Spanish poetry, we had Mayrin Villanueva from E.B. Reina Elementary. In spelling, we had Barbara Zarate from San Paradise Elementary. Is that Eileen? In ready writing, we had Eileen Lopez from JFK Elementary. And this concludes our 4th grade district champions. Moving on to our 5th grade district champions. In art, we had Carissa Rios from Sanford Ice Elementary. In calculator applications, we had Brianna Morales from JFK Elementary. In chess puzzle, we had Jose M. Salinas from Tabasco Elementary. In listening skills, we had Ixaya Zamora from JFK Elementary. In maps, graphs, and charts, we had Juan Hernandez from Benson Elementary. In mathematics, we had Diego Castrejon from Camarena Elementary. In music memory, we had Valerie Gonzalez from Leo Elementary. In number sense, we had Eric Garcia from JFK Elementary. In oral reading, we had Aliyah Saravia from Ibi Reina Elementary. In Spanish poetry, we had Ivani Trevino from Benson Elementary. In ready writing, we had Angela Diaz from Escandon Elementary. In science, we had Josue Salazar from Mendiola Elementary. And in spelling, we had Isaí Banuelos from Tabasco Elementary. This concludes our 5th grade district champions.
Will all the parents in the audience please stand so we can recognize you? Congratulations to all our UIL Academics winners.
And our overall first place district champions was Camarena Elementary. Marilyn Garza, we can please come up. And if we have any coaches, coordinator from Camarena, we can please join Ms. Garza.
Congratulations, Camarena Elementary.
A big congratulations to Camarena Elementary. Congratulations, Ms. Garza. Congratulations to our awesome coordinator and coaches.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Put it here.
Put it right there, that's fine.
She's hiding.
She's hiding. Congratulations.
Congratulations. This concludes our recognitions. Thank you, Board of Trustees, Dr. Science, and Administration for supporting UIL academics.
Thank you, Ms. Tijerino.
Next one.
The next item on the agenda on the discussion is Region 1 Education Service Center elections. And this is an information item that needs to be read. According to State Board of Education regulations, school district trustees must elect a board of directors of regional education service centers. A request was made by Region 1 to post on our district website the official announcement of this election. However, we have received a notice that the Region 1 Board of Directors has approved the cancellation of the ESC board election for the current year based on policy BBB local, which states that in the event that all positions in the Board of Directors election are uncontested, the ESC Board of Directors may determine that no election be held. The incumbents for Place 3 and Place 6, Mrs. Laura A. McCoy and Mr. Manuel Gomez Jr., respectively, filed for re-election and were unopposed. This is for information for our Board of Trustees. The next item on our discussion is Public Hearing of 2017-18 Texas Academic Performance Report.
We are now opening this public hearing. It is 7:11.
Good evening, Mr. Ochoa, Board President, Board members, Dr. Science. This is a required hearing about our performance in 2018. The accreditation for La Jolla ISD is good for 2018-19. We are accredited by the state as required to be a public school. Our rating for this past year was a B with a score of 86. Every campus at La Jolla ISD met performance standards in 2018. Some demographics from the report include that for the over 28,000 students that we had in 2018, 99.6% were Hispanic, while at the state level, over 5 million students, with over 5 million students, more than half of them were Hispanic. At La Jolla ISD, we had in 2018, 54% of our students being English language learners, compared to the region at 36% and the state at 19%. Economically disadvantaged students at La Jolla ISD, 93% of our students, and at the region, 86%, and the state, 59%. In terms of STAR performance, we have the percent of passing in reading. You can see there the state at 74, the region at 72, and the district at 65. In math, we reached the 80% for La Jolla ISD. And you can see the rest of the subjects there. The state also is emphasizing not just passing the test, but also scoring high, which is the next slide, where they say meets grade level. And what that is when students score this high, they have a 60% chance of doing well in their freshman college courses. So this is really what the Commissioner of Education is wanting more of, is students scoring high like that. The next slide is even higher. It's called masters. So at the master's level, that's scoring almost perfect on the test. And our accountability system also emphasizes that, getting more kids to score high. In terms of progress, La Jolla ISD is making the same amount of progress as the state in reading and a little bit higher than the state in math. We also have information on the bilingual program, which is the elementary program here at La Jolla ISD. And here you have, in reading, we're at a 76, which is above the state level and just below the region. And in math, we're at a 79, right, very close to the region and the state. In writing, we're actually above both the region and the state. And in science, we're above the state. For the ESL performance, which is our secondary schools, middle school and high school, we have performance in mathematics, which is above the state and the region, and in science also. Our dropout rates have gone down, which is good. And our graduation rates, the four-year graduation rate in particular, is getting closer to that 90%. 90% is what we need to meet the federal accountability. La Jolla ISD has, for many years, provided more of the advanced graduation programs at the high school and continues to do so. Our college-ready graduates at 44% is close to the state, which is at 47, and the region at 51. The state is also measuring something new, relatively new, it's called college, career, and military ready. It's not all students go to college. Some of them, straight out of high school, go into a career or into the military. Here, we're above the state and a little bit below the region. In terms of students who earn college credits in high school, we have 31.6%, which is above both the region and the state. Associate's degrees, again, we're well above the region and the state, probably due to our early college high schools. The career in tech, these are kids getting ready for careers. The state is actually moving towards certifications. They want the students to graduate, being able to get a job with a certificate, and La Jolla ISD has been recognized for leading in that area. So you can see we're at 10%, which is well above the region and the state. Another part of the report includes the distinctions for all the schools, where this is where schools are recognized for performing better than their peers. So every school is compared to 40 other schools, and the schools that score in the top quarter get a distinction. So you can see there, the high schools all got, well, except for Palmview, all got distinctions. Even the early colleges, they're compared against other early colleges. So those distinctions are well earned. The middle schools got quite a few distinctions, and also the elementary. Another part of the report is the performance objectives of the district. So you can see there the progress we've made over the last couple of years and the targets for 2019. You have the same information over the next few pages for all the campuses. Then you have a part of the report that comes from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, showing our high school graduates and how many of them have enrolled in college the year after they graduate, and their GPAs. After that, we have several pages of financial data. If you have any questions, I'm sure Mr. Trevino would be able to address those. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera.
Thank you.
We have one more piece, Dr. Sands, and that is the report on violent and criminal incidents. Mr. Villar is going to say a few words about that.
In conjunction, good evening, Madam President, distinguished board, and Interim Superintendent Dr. Steins. The other part of the paper report is the violent and criminal incident reports. And as you see before you, we must report Texas statute, Texas Education Code 39.053 requires that La Jolla Independent School District publish an annual report on violent and criminal incidents at the district. All right, the report must include number, rate, and type of incidents, information concerning school violence prevention, and intervention policies and procedures used by the district, and findings from the Safe and Drug-Free Schools and Communities Act survey. In front of you now, you have the reason or code and type of incident on your left. As you see, murder, capital murder, criminal attempt to commit murder, none. Code 18, indecency with a child, none. 19, aggravated kidnapping, none. Code 28, assault against someone other than a school district employee or volunteer, we had 89, and those are usually just fights amongst students. Code 30, aggravated assault against someone other than a school district employee or volunteer, 0 there. 32, sexual assault or aggravated sexual assault against someone other than a school district employee or volunteer, none there, for a total of, and then 46, aggravated robbery, of course, none there as well, for a total of 89 for the 2017-18 school year. Finally, we have 30 different preventions and interventions, policies, and procedures used by the district, and you have them there. We use our student code of conduct, additional surveillance cameras, which we're still working on installing. Chapter 37, which is one of our codes of prevention and interventions for safe and drug-free schools, school counseling safety topics, referrals to outside agencies, the Raptor system for identification of parents or visitors as they come and see our kids, make sure that they're safe, they don't have record, drug prevention use campaigns, responsibility education, values codes, response to intervention, positive behavior intervention support, PBIS, special education services, communities in schools, parental involvement activities, gangs, drug and violent prevention community task force, community campaigns on drug prevention, campus student groups, social workers, procedures for student morning drop-off and additional guardhouse, which we added, anti-bullying campaign, administrative trainings on discipline issues, supervising campus hotspots. Hotspots are areas where kids like to kind of hang around and hide. Increased canine visits, counseling transition strategies at our Hope Academy, which is our school district alternative education placement program, and center programs. Practice for standard response protocols for lockdowns, train campuses on positive behavior, which is very important. Positive behavior high school use of discipline center. And there you have the 30 different interventions that we utilize to not only prevent, but to intervene before they happen. Questions?
On the previous slide, on 41, you had the number of 89.
Correct.
As compared to other years, has this increased, decreased, stayed the same?
It's been the same, pretty much, to the previous years. This is last school year.
Right.
And we looked at the 2 years, the 16-17 school year, and it was, in fact, a little, it's not, it doesn't, not higher, significantly higher. All right, good question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villarreal.
Thank you.
Unless there are questions, it's the end of our report. The report will be available at our website.
At this time, does anyone have any questions or concerns regarding these presentations? If we don't, it is 7:22, and we close this item, public hearing. Do I need a motion? Do I have a motion for this item? Do I need a motion for this item? No, right? Next item, discussion item number 1. Presentation report, Texas 21st Century ACE program.
Good afternoon, President Claudia Ochoa, school board members, and Dr. Gisela Science. My name is Janet Leanne, and I am the director for the Texas ACE program. I just want to give you a little bit of overview of what it is that we are doing with the ACE program, and a little bit of information on what it is. The federally funded 21st Century Community Learning Centers program is better known in the state of Texas as the ACE, the After School Centers on Education program. This program supports community learning centers during out-of-regular school hours for students in high poverty and low-performing schools. Through academic enrichment hands-on activities, students are given the opportunity to complement their regular school day academic programs in order to meet the challenging state academic standards. The program also has a component that provides families of participating students with active and meaningful engagement in their children's education. So with a $1.5 million budget, we are to serve students 29 weeks during the regular school year, 6 weeks during summer school, and the target for our district for the 10 campuses in total is about 1,400 students. But we are currently serving, in the La Jolla ISD program, we are serving 2,561 students. The active and meaningful family engagement component, which is ran by the ACE program family engagement specialist, Ms. Jessica Torres. This is just a little bit of overview on what it is that portion of our program consists of. So the six key components of parental involvement in order to help improve students' academic achievement are, of course, parent activities, communication between the schools and the parents, bringing in the parents to volunteer during after-school hours with the students as well as during the school day, learning at home, informing and educating our parents as far as different ways that they are able to educate their students at home or teach their students their kids at home. Involving the parents in decision-making, and as well as putting the parents or the families in communication with different community programs that are out there for them. So community collaboration. These are the 5 elementary campuses that are serviced under our ACE program and our corresponding coordinators. At Rosendo Benavides Elementary, Mrs. Claudia Canales. At Tabasco Elementary, Mrs. Michelle Robledo. At Sanford Heights Elementary, Mrs. Marta Villarreal. At Emiliano Zapata Elementary, Mr. Jose Rodriguez. And at Juan Seguin Elementary, Mrs. Gracie Sandoval. And this is just a brief list of some of the activities that we are offering and some of the different types of presentations that our students have already taken a part of through the after-school centers on education program. So this is some of the elementary activities. They range from, of course, homework assistance tutoring, Picasso Club, science clubs, 3D printing, art box, canvas painting, flogorico, cheer dance, robotics, the character in me, theater clubs, and of course, many more. Secondary campuses that we are servicing and the respective coordinators at Juarez Lincoln High School, Mrs. Melinda Villarreal. At Dr. Science Middle School, Ms. Carmen Mendoza. At Ann Richards Middle School, Mrs. Amy Ramirez. At J.D. Salinas Middle School, Mr. Benjamin Cárdenas. And at Domingo Treviño Middle School, Ms. Juliana Garza. And these are some of the activities that are taking place at the secondary centers. Also, of course, homework assistance tutoring. We have cooking, baking, STEM clubs, arts and crafts, robotics, tumbling, painting, and the most recent and popular one at Juarez Lincoln High School, driver's ed. And just a really quick overview of the objectives of the program. Like any other educational program, there are objectives that are to be met. 20% increase in students' overall academic performance, increase 10% in attendance and 15% on-time advancement, 20% increase in parental involvement, 15% increase in graduation rates and career competencies, and 25% decrease in discipline referrals. Of course, at the end of our program, a statewide evaluation of the Texas ACE program is done by TEA. And additionally, we are required to conduct a local program evaluation. Upon completion, it will be made available to the public. The purpose of this is to ensure compliance with the program and statutory requirements, identify our program strengths and weaknesses, and to compare the academic performance from participants and non-participants. That concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item number 2, discussion of participation in the Texas Education Agency Dual Language Immersion Program Pilot.
Good evening, Mrs. Board President and members of the board and Dr. Science. It gives me great pleasure just to share a little bit of information, some of the innovative things we're doing here at La Jolla ISD. We do have a TA Dual Language Immersion Pilot Program overview. You will find this information in page 44 out of your manual. And so it's just a quick summary of what La Jolla has partaken in partnership with TEA. One of the commissioner's rules and initiatives this year is to have the agency look at the different models, program models of implementation of dual language. And so what they did is they reviewed a lot of literature, and they had certain objectives. So what they want to do, they want to provide the state with more guidance on how to implement dual language and what are those effective programs out there so that they can better guide districts in implementation of the program. So their objectives for this pilot program is they want to support the districts with a self-evaluation of your program. So in this program, they are helping us forte in looking at our program and really evaluating what is it that we're doing at our district. We are also helping them with the implementation of rubrics that they have created so that we can effectively evaluate our programs. And of course, we will, if you participate in this program, the privilege of it is that you're helping the state create resources for other districts to utilize in implementing the program. And so when this was shared with us back in the fall semester, TEA was requesting volunteers. They're like, who wants to do this? Who wants to apply? And so we were shared this information. Region 1 said, you know what, La Jolla, you have a solid program. Apply. We want you to apply and, help TEA, develop those resources. So we did. We had to submit in the application in December. We submitted the application. By January 14th, we've already been called and said, you know what, you were selected. So we're really, really proud of that. With that selection of us participating in the program, there are different expectations. So what we're doing with TEA, because we've already started that, it went really, really fast. It's like you were accepted and we started with our meetings. So we already had a December 3rd meeting where they give us an overview of the expectations. And then we've been having monthly meetings with TEA. And I know Dr. Science and a group of our principals have been selected to help us in this endeavor. And so we've been participating with TEA and looking at the rubrics and evaluating our program so that we can better help the state and guide other districts with the implementation. So we're really, really proud and, a point for La Jolla, right? So we wanted to make sure that we present this information. We will finalize this project not till the end of April, but there is a continuation. They will be starting to visit because this pilot program also involves them coming to check out our program. We weren't selected in this round, but they told us that it's continuing, and who knows, maybe next year they're actually going to come and visit our program. So thank you so much. Any questions?
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zuniga.
Moving on to item number 3, communication survey results and update.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Science. As you know, one of the most important things that we need to work on is our communication system. We have a survey or a needs assessment that we did as a district. We have over 733 portable radios and over 330 radios that are either on buses or police cars or maintenance vehicles. And one of the things that we want to do is want to be able to communicate between departments. So based on this needs assessment, we formed a committee, and the committee involves personnel from every department that has a responsibility when it comes to communication and safety. So this committee has met with multiple vendors over the last several weeks, and the vendors have presented their products, and the next step is we're gonna do our specs, we're gonna get with our purchasing department, and we're gonna get approval from legal counsel so we can go out for bids. Once we get the bids, and once we find out how much it's gonna cost us. Obviously, we're gonna meet with our finance department so that we can look for the funding and allocate some funding, and also look for some grant money so that we can purchase and move forward with this project. And then obviously the last thing is to bring it back to the board so that we can get it approved. So we just wanted to give you an update of the things that we've been doing regarding the radio communication system here at La Jolla ISD. Questions or comments?
I have a comment, Chief Gonzalez. I just want to extend my gratitude to yourself and to the team that you put together, or that was put together, to look this up and provide us with the data. We have to know what our needs are in order to meet them. So the data that you provided us with is very beneficial to us, because we get to see what we're lacking or what we need to improve on. So if you could extend our gratitude to the team that was put together. And of course, I know I speak for all of us when I say that safety and security is top priority for us, for our students and our staff. So I appreciate you looking into this and the entire team that was put together. Thank you.
Your message will be received by them. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Gonzalez.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on to item number 4, discussion of investment earnings as of February 28th, 2019.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Director of Science. Today, I'll be presenting to you the status of the investments and the investments earnings for the La Jolla ISD as of February 28th, 2019. I'd like you to direct you to page 47. Here, it's a recap of the investments as of February 28th, totaling $121,346,988, of which $95,735,569 is from the general fund. That makes up about 78.89%. You would also see a listing of all the different funds. And if you have any questions on any of those, I'll be glad to address those. Matt, I'd like you to direct to page 60. This page basically reflects a recap of the earnings that we made on our investments. Okay? As of February 28th, 2019, the district has made $1,210,984 in investments in the different funds. The majority, of course, is from our general fund. Are there any questions on any of them? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Moving on to item number 8, public comments. Irma, do we have anybody sign up for public comments? Very good. Moving on to item number 9, consent agenda. We don't have anything under consent agenda. Do we still need a motion for this? No. Okay. Moving on to item 10, under contracts. Item number 1, ratification of La Jolla ISD Police Department First Offender Program Development Initiative.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, number 2, Region 1 Education Service Center's local assessment fee for special services projects for the 2018-2019 school year.
I so move.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa, a second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, agreement between La Jolla ISD and community-based RGV Mentors program coordinated by the Career and Technical Education and Academies Departments.
So move.
Second.
I'll set, okay.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, 2019 school year interlocal cooperation contract for the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley Migrant University Summer Experience.
So move.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa, a second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, Power School Talent Ed Solutions Contract.
So move.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa, a second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, E-rate 22, 2019-2020, Category 1, and Category 2 Services, RFPs, 2019 through 38.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, Instructional Materials Allotment and TEX certification.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, English Language Arts and Reading Textbook Adoption.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, Resolution number 2019-01, Rifle Resistant Body Armor Grant Program.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza, a second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, Resolution number 2019-02, La Jolla ISD Police Department First Offender Program Development Initiative.
Also move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, Resolution number 2019-03, La Jolla ISD Police Department Promoting Public Safety in all our schools.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, Arbitrage Rebate Services Renewal Contract.
So move.
A motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, approval to extend the current depository bank contract with BBVA Compass Bank for an additional 2-year term.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to bids, item number 1.
Second.
Second by Mr. Garza. Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, Telescopic Gym Bleacher Repair Services, CSP 2019-39.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3 under bid, Spanish Cognitive Abilities and Achievement Assessments, CSP 2019-40.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 under bids, College and Career Readiness Program, CSP 2019-41.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, Surveillance Equipment and Installation.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, Intercom Repair Services.
Also move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
I just have a question. Is that an addition or are we doing it all new? Because I know some of the systems were not identical.
Who are you addressing that question to?
Oh. Is it in your area, Joe? Or is it with you, miss? Okay. Yeah, but does it go hand in hand with the one that we have, or is it gonna be a whole new system?
It's just.
Good evening. On the intercom repair services, these are for the systems that are already in place in our campuses. And so the proposal that we have in place, it will be expiring, and this is the one to replace it. So these vendors will be available for repair services, and also should a system go down and require replacement, we will be able to request quotes from these vendors to
To either work with the one we have or go with a new one?
correct.
Okay. That's it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Again, item number 6, I had a motion by
Coach.
Mr. Salinas and a second.
Me.
Mr. Cantu.
Mr. Cantu.
Okay. So again, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now, under Business and Finance, number 1, acceptance of donation of bench to La Jolla ISD Museum by the class of 1973.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, La Jolla ISD Police Department Racial Profile Report for 2018. Motion by Mr. Garza.
Second.
Second by Ms. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, visit to the Texas Capitol for school board members and the interim superintendent scheduled for April 3rd and 4th in Austin.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me, this one right here was a typo. It should be April 2 and 3.
Okay. So again, correction on the dates for April 2 and 3. So I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa, a second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, application and certificate for payment of contractor's fee number 2 for La Jolla ISD Storage Facility Electrical Upgrade Project.
So move. I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, application and certificate for payment of contractor's fee number 4 for La Jolla ISD Jimmy Carter Early College High School renovations project.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, application and certificate for payment of contractor's fee number 4 for La Jolla ISD HVAC replacement project at the Performing Arts Center.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, application of final payment request for consultant services, the service fees to oversee the operations and management of La Jolla ISD wastewater treatment facility.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, Region 1 School Board Conference for the Board of Trustees and the interim superintendent of schools to attend in South Padre Island on May 17th and 18th.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, Texas Association of School Board Summer Leadership Institute for the Board of Trustees and the interim superintendent of schools to attend in San Antonio, Texas on June 13th through 15th, 2019.
Also move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item under Business and Finance, number 10, acceptance of substantial completion for the La Jolla ISD HVAC replacement project at the Performing Arts Center.
I'll move. I'll second, Mr. Garza.
Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, proposed offer from the Texas Department of Transportation.
Also move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, authorize interim superintendent to convey deeds for parcel 5 located on Liberty Road.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 13, ranking of competitive sealed proposals for the La Jolla ISD Irene M. Garcia Middle School HVAC renovations project.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, negotiate contract with contractor offering best value to the school district based on the published criteria and on ranking evaluation of competitive sealed proposals for La Jolla ISD Irene M. Garcia Middle School HVAC renovations project.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, rank.
Ms. Ochoa,
Yes.
I do have a question. And who do I? It's just I'm seeing a lot of HVAC, which is a necessity. But I thought we were going to go in phases, and so all of a sudden I'm seeing everything.
Good afternoon, Board President, members of the board, and Dr. Sines. These are some HVAC, some insurance money, some settlements that we got that where we put it into the same school that the amount was funded for.
So it's coming out of insurance
Yes.
funds. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you. Item 15, ranking of competitive sealed proposals for HVAC replacement project at La Jolla ISD Juan Seguin Elementary.
Also move.
A motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, negotiate contract with contractor offering best value to the school district based on the published criteria and on ranking evaluation of competitive sealed proposals for HVAC replacement project at La Joya ISD Juan Seguin Elementary.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 17, revised proposal submitted by engineering firm for La Joya ISD Seguin Elementary chiller replacement project.
Also move on that.
Motion by Mr. Salinas. I'll second that. Second by Mrs. Hernandez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Under instruction and student services, item,
Madam
Yes.
President, I want to make a motion to approve item 1 through 36. It's pretty much student travel and grants. I want to make a motion to approve item 1 through 36.
I have a motion to approve items 1 through 36 under student services by Mr. Cantu. A second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank God I was getting started.
But, Alex, you said 26 or 36?
36.
Because we have some grants in there, no?
Yeah, they're all grants.
Okay,
They're
all right,
grants.
all right.
Travel.
all right. So all the way to 36, right?
Yes. Now, item 37. Yes.
There was an issue with respect to item number 29. There was a typo on the dates. The correct
Oh,
date
second.
should be.
Second to the third.
Second and third, yes.
So is your motion, are you okay with the motion?
Yes, I'm-
correcting those dates?
Yes, sir.
So I have a motion to approve items 1 through 36 with a correction on item number 21 in reference to the dates instead of
29.
April
Item 29.
29th, I'm sorry. So instead of April 3rd through 4th, it'll be
2 and 3.
April 2nd
And
and 3rd.
Yes.
So I had a motion by Mr. Cantu.
And I'll second.
Second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. So now item number 37, district calendar for the 2019-2020 school year.
I'll second, Mr. Garza.
Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 38, the 2019 ACE Program Summer School Manual.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 39, approval of elementary schools of choice for 2019-2020 school year.
I'll second, Ms. Cantu.
Motion by Mrs. Cantu. I had a second by Ms. Ochoa over here.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 40, summer 2019 curriculum and instruction projects.
I'll
Motion
second.
by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Under Human Resources, item 1, TASB Regulations Resource Manual Update 58. Motion by Ms. Ochoa. Second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, TASB Policy Update 112.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On item number 3, we now have a public hearing and approval of salary adjustments regarding payment in excess of contractual amount. It is 7:52, and we are now opening this public hearing.
Dr. Science, this is for additional duties?
This is for, it's in conjunction with the transformation grant that Juarez Lincoln High School has, and they're going to begin an evening dual credit program, and the administrators are going to take turns supervising it in the evening, and so this will be an extra duty stipend for the administrators at that school.
Okay. That being said, also move after public hearing.
Do we have any other questions or concerns? Okay, it is 7:52. We close the public hearing, and I had a motion by Mr. Salinas and a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Under Human Resources, item number 4, public hearing approval of salary adjustment regarding additional stipend for acting principal at Benavides Elementary. It is 7:53. I open this public hearing.
I'll second, Ms. Ochoa, if she didn't get a second after the,
Any
So when I had
other
it-
questions, concerns regarding this item? If not, it is still 7:53, and we are closing public hearing. I had a motion by Mr. Salinas.
by Ms.
By Ms.
Ochoa.
Ochoa,
I'm
sorry.
seconding.
And a second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Under Human Resources, item number 5, school district teaching permit for non-core academic CTE courses.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion by Ms. Ochoa, a second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, reclassification of Director of Purchasing and Warehouse Operations to Executive Director of Purchasing and Warehouse Operations.
Also move.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item under Human Resources, number 7, new stipends for 2019-2020 school year.
Also move on that, but I know that we're not going to go into a public hearing, no? No. Also move. Can you just say a little bit about that, Doc? Just
And I'll second that.
These are effective for the 2019-20 school year. We just saw a lot of our principals being recognized for the implementation of our dual language program. And we recognize that our dual language teachers work very, very hard, just like a lot of other teachers, and spend a lot of extra time planning. And so I want to thank the board for bringing this item. This will pay our dual language teachers that teach dual language students in the elementary a stipend, as well as 6th through 12th grade teachers with ESL certification that teach ELA a stipend.
Thank you, Dr. Science. So I had for item number 7 under Human Resources, I had a motion by Mr. Salinas and a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. It is now 7:55, and at this time, we're going into executive session under Texas Government Code 551074, 551071, 551072, and Tax Code Section 3405, A, C, and D. Again, at 7:55. At this time, we are out of executive session. It is 9:47.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion under personal, letter H, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, as discussed in executive session.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas for items 1 through 8 as discussed in executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. It is 9:48.
I'll make a
and
motion
this
for
meeting
adjournment.
is adjourned. A motion for adjournment from Mr. Salinas? Second by Mr. Cantu. 9:48.